Hey everybody, welcome to today's tips and tricks call. My name is Tim Sessions. I am the Director of Client Services and I will be hosting this call today. One thing that I like to do before we jump into things is make sure that you have an opportunity to enter our giveaway. It's a lot of fun. So if you're new around here, basically click the link in the chat and that will direct you to our landing page on examples.media where you can enter our giveaway. And at the end of the call, we give away $100. Another feature with this contest is that if you've entered early enough, you can actually share your referral link with colleagues. And I haven't checked that link yet, or I haven't checked the entries yet, but if there are entries that have referral points, then we go ahead and award the top four or the highest entries. So we encourage you to share that with people who you find or who you think will find this information relevant. So if you're sharing it with your grandma in Albuquerque, she might not understand what we're talking about, but if you share it with your coworkers or a friend in the TV radio business who might not be a client of ours, then that's 100% okay. So keep that in mind. If you haven't done it for this one, do that for the next one. You have a chance to win $25 if you have those top referral points. So we'll check that at the end of the call. So yeah, hopefully you've had an opportunity to jump in and enter the contest. Let's go over the agenda of what we're going to be talking about today. This one's pretty exciting. We discussed the sweepstakes. So again, if you haven't entered and you have two screens, go ahead and enter while I'm talking here, and then you can still pay attention to what we're talking about as well. We're going to cover the December marketing plan, the marketing plan, as well as the promotions calendar and the home for the holidays one sheet. Those are all available as handouts on this call. So please download those if you're on this call. If you're listening to this later, don't hesitate to reach out and we can send those to you as well. We'll also be showing our Idea Studio. You may have gotten an email about the launch of this Idea Studio, but we'll cover some of the topics that are on there. And then we'll talk about the home for the holidays and a feature that we've added to our chat called User Feed. And it's a way to send feedback and feature requests to Aptivata. And we'll kind of go over what we're looking at or what we're looking for when utilizing that new feature. While we're on the subjects of new features, we have one called user attributes, and I'll walk you through how to set something like that up and go into a little bit more of a discussion there, as well as a deep dive into setting up defaults. And then of course, at the end, we'll go ahead and pick winners. So let's jump right into the presentation here. With the December marketing plan, again, it's available as a handout. We highlight a promotion that we see benefiting our clients, something that has done really well. If you have a promotion and you'd like to get it highlighted, let's say in one of our case studies or on this call, if you're like, hey, Aptivata, this worked for me, I think it could benefit other people, feel free to make us aware of those. Please just chat in and say, hey, we have this promotion. We had success with our clients, has a lot of entries, or it's successful because ... Feel free to send those in, and we'd love to highlight those so that everyone can kind of benefit from the great things that you guys are doing. Also in the December marketing plan, we highlight some of the upcoming national promotions so you can get those on your radar, and then the templates that we've also added for you to use. Now with the templates, as a reminder, those don't have a national prize tied to them, but the national promotions generally do. And that's what's nice about our 2020 promotions calendar, is that you can see which of our national promotions have a prize associated with those. For instance, if you're looking at this calendar here and there is a star next to the prize, that means it is supplied by Aptivata. So download that 2020 calendar so you know what's coming up, what you can jump on as an Aptivata contest. As a client, this is no additional cost to you. We have seen that question quite often. How much will it cost me to run this? For you guys, it doesn't cost anything if you're obviously a client. And then you have the opportunity to tie in sponsorships with those. You'll hear us say that over and over and over again. Regarding questions, I forgot to mention we do have a couple of my staff standing by. We have Everett and Ryan available to answer any of your questions, so feel free to send those in the question panel and they'll get to those. If they don't have the answer right away, then we'll definitely follow up with an answer either on the call or through email. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask questions either. With the 2020 marketing calendar, we give you an idea of some of the templates coming up so you can kind of build out some ideas of what you would like to run at your stations. And then we will talk about the Idea Studio. So let me go ahead and jump out of this presentation here. Sorry, that slide jumped up on me. I thought I had one more on the marketing calendar there, but we're good. So let me jump over to the Idea Studio. And what this is all you have to do is type in ideas.aptivata.com. And you can come in and you can check out some featured case studies. You can download our monthly marketing plans. Right now, November is available. So by being on this call, we're actually jumping the gun and you get December, so keep that in mind. You can learn about our upcoming national promotions, the 2020 promotions calendar, which we just talked about. You can learn about the monthly webinars, and if you know somebody who isn't added to our distribution list on these webinars, encourage them to sign up for the webinars by clicking here. And then we also talk about integrations that we work with too. So this is for you guys to use as a resource to get some ideas, see what we're working on, and see what can benefit you as our clients. So if you go to aptivata.com, you'll see we have the new Idea Studio link at the top, as well as you can just go to ideas.aptivata.com. All right, and let's finally talk about Home for the Holidays. So final call, Home for the Holidays does launch on November 1st. So if that's something that you guys would like to participate in, if you aren't already, please reach out to us and let us know, and we'll send you a link so that you can sign up. We do need a sponsor list for any sponsors that you've sold as per the rules. So feel free to reach out with that information. And we'll get you signed up. We have a lot of great participation there. If you're not familiar with Home for the Holidays, basically Aptivata pays somebody's mortgage or rent in 2020. So again, this is a national contest that you can piggyback off of. So, all right, let's talk about user feed. Now, you may, if you've chatted us in recent weeks, have seen a button that says, what can we improve, and gives you a prompt to share some feedback. Now, you can always chat this information in to us, but I wanted to cover what you can share using this share feedback button. And basically, it's any feedback that doesn't need immediate attention. If there's something ongoing, an issue that is happening right then and there, go ahead and click that New Start conversation and make us aware of it. But if there's any other feedback, you know, hey, I've noticed this thing seems out of place, or I noticed something is going on when I try to create this contest. It doesn't really get in the way of your day-to-day. Please help us by making us aware of it. And then another feature, or excuse me, another thing that we are hoping for with this share feedback button is feature requests. So if you guys have an idea, any way to better improve our product, help us kind of see what your needs are, you know, I added that it would be nice if. Think of that statement as you are putting in some feature requests, because we're always open to new ideas. We want to hear what you guys have to say, and that's a great place to do it if you don't, you know, want to start a full-on conversation with one of our great client success team members. So yeah, as these bits of feedback or feature requests get shared, one of the exciting things about this button is that we can then place them in our system, and users can track the progress. So you guys can track the progress. You can add comments. So if you see something, a similar issue on the list that has been submitted, you can comment, hey, I have that issue too. Or if you see a feature request that you really like, you could comment, I need this. You can upvote things, and it's a pretty exciting addition, only to help us better serve you guys. So in Aptivata, let me just jump into the dashboard real quick. All you do is click chat and share feedback. It's going to show you a list of a few things that have already been brought to our attention as far as feedback or feature requests. If it's something that you are experiencing as well, you can highlight that by clicking the heart. You can click into the issue. You can even leave a comment as well. So we encourage you to use that button there to share some feedback. All right, let's jump back to the presentation here. Thanks for being patient with all my jumping around. Let's talk about this exciting new feature. It's called user attributes. Now, when this was explained to me, when our development team kind of walked me through it, basically the way that they put it is we want Aptivata to be the true source of data. So as you guys are collecting information through contests, sweepstakes, surveys, things of that nature, Aptivata can be that hub of information that you're collecting on your users. Now with that information, you can send it out to your email marketing platforms. You can run Facebook ads, Google ads, and really create some exciting campaigns based on what your marketing plans and marketing efforts are. And with user attributes, we really feel like this will help you with those efforts. So let's jump into the Aptivata dashboard so that I can show you exactly what we're talking about and how to access it. So I have a personal account, and every once in a while I run contests on it and do giveaways so that I can practice what I preach and really understand exactly what you guys are going through as you do the same. So to access user attributes, you go to your icon. So mine says my name because I'm logged in as Tim, and you can click user attributes. And what you can do is you can create these custom user attributes. So you can see I've been playing around a little bit. My account is heavily based on collecting Instagram followers, so I want to know people's Instagram IDs. If they provide that to me, then I have a nice field where I have people who enter my contest and have provided their Instagram IDs. Favorite color, that goes without saying, favorite ice cream, income level, favorite band, kind of a bunch of funny little tests that I've been doing. But let's talk about this income level user attribute here. Now, let's say you have a marketing campaign and you want to target certain people within that income level. You can go ahead and add an attribute, you title it, and one thing to note when you're creating your user attributes, then this is kind of a developer speak, but you want to replace your spaces with the underscores. So, I could do income underscore level. Data type is the type of data, and obviously I get this warning that says it's already in use, but that's okay. And then data type, we're going to do a text field because what we're going to use to select our income levels is actually a drop down. So that drop down is going to have text included. But you can do number field and date. That'll make a little bit more sense here in just a minute. And then of course you can give it a description. So, what are you using this for? An important thing to know is that if you want to collect this data through sweepstakes and surveys, so if you want to understand somebody's income level based on an answer they've given you on a sweepstakes, then you want to allow it as a form field, or allow on form fields, and I'll show you where that shows up in just a second. But you go ahead and you can check that, click submit, and then you have your new user attribute. So let's take a look at a promotion that I've started building. It's down here in my drafts. And on my promotion, kind of a weird promotion where I'm asking favorite ice cream, favorite band, and income level. But what I've done is I've created what is your income, and I click into the settings of that. And these are my drop-down choices here. Now, once you've enabled the user attribute that we built, so for instance, income level, and I didn't put a description in there, I probably should have, then you'll see an option to link it to that user attribute. So here's all my custom attributes that I've listed. I want to link that to income level. So now, as people enter this information, they are associated with this income level user attribute, and the information that they provide you is now associated with them as a user. Now, that already happens if you ask for somebody's income level on a contest. When you download this information, that information is going to be provided to you whether or not you link it to a user attribute. But where this comes in handy is down the road when you want to market to these people, say using MailChimp, which I'm going to show as my example here, or if you want to create a custom report in our app called UserBase. Now, you should be familiar with UserBase. If not, it's that little pie chart icon within your account. And what you can do is filter out your users based on various attributes, I guess, for lack of a better term. So yeah, you can create a segment and you can say something along the lines of anyone whose customer attribute is income level, select a comparison, and does not equal, and if we remember what our user attributes were, we could say 31K to 60K. And I don't think I'll have any users in here right now just because I was just barely experimenting with this, so I didn't build a big database. But here we go. Okay, so we did get a few people who have given their information. These are all my test accounts here. And we have 3 users who fall in that pay category. What's nice about that is that we can now download this as a CSV. We could create a lookalike audience in Facebook and begin targeting ads to people that fall in that income bracket. Now that gets into some advanced retargeting terminology. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that you have access to this awesome feature. Now let's talk a little bit about how this can work with your email platforms. So let's talk about MailChimp, just because I do have an account with MailChimp here. What you'll want to do is you can actually create custom fields within MailChimp to match your user attributes within Aptivata. So within MailChimp, I'll go to audience, and this is going to be different depending on which email platforms you guys use, but the concept should be the same. So in mine, I went to audience, manage audience, settings, and settings again, it's kind of hidden in MailChimp here, but we can create different audience fields. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that because I used a drop down for income level, I want to make sure that those options in my drop down in Aptivata match the same drop downs within MailChimp. And the merge field that I use is income or merge 12. That's a setting by MailChimp. But basically, if I'm composing in an email, I could say, hey, it looks like you make between, and use the merge field, 31K to 60K. How about this offer? I don't know if you'd want to make that, public in an email. It might freak somebody else or somebody out, but that's the idea of a merge field. So as users enter your contest, so let's go ahead and search a contact. I'm going to search myself here, tim@aptivata.com. And I know this is getting into some pretty advanced stuff, but that's the idea behind these tips and tricks, is that we want to open your guys' minds up to possibilities beyond, just creating a basic sweepstakes and so forth. And keep in mind, this is recorded if you need to revisit this later. So we want to view my profile. And it looks like I didn't use that user attribute. Let me try my personal email. I thought I did as I was playing around with it. But I believe you get the idea. It will import my answers here. Oh, that's not it. I'm sorry, guys. And search, let's view this profile. Let's see if it pulled in. Okay, so yeah, pulled in this income level here from answering through my contest. So let's jump back to the promotion and see what that looks like exactly. So pretty basic entry form here. Would you like to receive emails from us? This is going to subscribe me to that MailChimp newsletter. And because I've answered with this drop down here, this number, then of course it's going to associate that income level with my account within MailChimp there. So yeah, that's I guess how you tie the user attribute to the entry form. Now let's talk a little bit about the integration portion to make sure that that data is being passed to MailChimp. So you can do this at an account level under the account manager, but in this example, I'm just going to do it specifically to this promotion that I have built here. So here's my integration. This is Ogden. That's my MailChimp integration. Now, little side note here. Let me jump back to the promotion. If you're using multiple MailChimp integrations, let's say one for you and one for a customer, then you want to be able to label those. So for instance, this is Ogden is my personal one. I want to make sure that they're getting subscribed to that list. I've partnered in the past with a group called Indie Ogden, and because my integration is labeled, then I know not to pass my subscribers over to their list. And of course, when the promotion's over, I want to disconnect that integration as well. So little side note there. All right, yeah, so my integration has been turned on, and basically what it looks like is this. So I can add an event. I can select my personal MailChimp account. I can click complete entry. So anytime an entry is completed, this is going to happen. So I want to turn it on, make sure it's active. I can go into the settings, then I can select what data goes ahead and gets passed to MailChimp. So for instance, I want to do income level, choose data. I scroll down to user attribute, and I want it to be assigned to income level. It's going to pull in that merge field that MailChimp assigned to it. And if I want to test it before the contest goes live, I can click send sample event, fill out any of these fields here, send now, and it's going to tell me whether or not that event worked or not. So you can actually test it without actually having to enter the contest there. So that gets into some advanced integration stuff, but that's how you would associate that user attribute with a user and be able to pass that information over to your email marketing. Another thing you can do is download that information, again, based off of the user attributes, and create a lookalike audience and market to those people within Facebook as well. So another exciting feature with user attributes is that we can also, with various accounts that we've added our API to, as information comes into Aptivata through those various API sources, whether it's through an app login or a manual import that we do for some people, then with those user attributes, we can ensure that the data associated with that, let's say it's a CSV file of something that we don't typically ask for in an Aptivata contest, but it's on the CSV file, let's say like a ticket ID number, for instance. Then if we had a user attribute available, we can import that information, assign that ticket ID number to a user so that that can be recalled at a later time right within Aptivata. So lots of information based off of this new little feature that we've created. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about that, let us know. We can reach out. We can work with you on setting that up, work on various use cases, and make sure that that it works for you. For our PostUp users, we have some people that are tied in with PostUp. I was testing it this morning, but there has been an issue with PostUp that was identified on PostUp's end, and we can work with you on that if you're trying it with your PostUp accounts, and once that's been resolved by PostUp. So we can take a look at that a little bit down the road for our PostUp users. Okay, so quite a bit of information regarding user attributes. Hopefully you find that exciting. Hopefully you find that informative as a way to really expand your outreach as a true, marketer and contest builder and promoter. Okay, so that was the new feature announcement. That might feel like the meat of the tips and tricks call. This one might go a little bit longer than a half hour, but one other thing that I'd like to show you is the editing of app defaults. We have visited this before, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware of this feature so that you can really speed up the building of your promotions in the future. So what we're talking about when we talk about app defaults, it's exactly what it sounds like, that each time you build a new contest, a new gallery, a new sweepstakes, new gallery, a sports app, and you want it to look and feel a certain way every time you build it, you can actually set that up as a default. So let me go ahead and before I jump into editing these defaults, I'm going to go ahead and create a new sweepstakes, and I'm going to call this default form. And just so it stands out, I'm going to say do not delete. So this form that I'm building right here is going to be the default form that I want to use every time a contest is built. So in step one, I can determine what I want people to do. Let's say my contests, I'm only allowing them to enter once per week. Now, keep in mind, once you've set up these defaults and created a new contest, you can always come back and edit them on an individual basis. So you're not locked into this, but by setting a default, it does give you that default when you build the contest. And let's say I want to take off the Facebook, but I want them to log in with Twitter, and I want that email button below the Twitter login button there. Okay, so that's it for step one. On step two, by default, it's always going to be first name and last name, but I want to make sure that they live in my city. So I always want to ask for the city. I'll make that required. And you can play with the repeat type settings. And I always want to make sure that my list opt-in is available and they're always opting in to my Ogden Insiders newsletter. Let's see if there's anything else I think that we should add. That looks good there. Other input fields, we can add those. But then we can also make sure that our social media accounts are always associated with this form as well, so that we don't forget about that when building contests. So I'm going to go ahead and put my my Instagram account in there. This is Ogden. If you want to see pretty pictures of Ogden, you can check that out on Instagram. But and we can set up these defaults as well. You can add as many or as few as you'd like. Basically, all we're doing is creating an entry form that gets called in every time we create a new promotion. And then, of course, step four, if there's always something we want to say here, thanks for entering, come back tomorrow, enter again, and so forth. You can set up those defaults. I won't get into too much detail there, but let's go to where we can set up these defaults. So I go to the account manager, click details, access, and next to each application that you have access to, you're going to see a button that says edit default. So in this case, I'm editing the defaults of my sweepstakes. So what's cool about this is not only are we editing the defaults of the entry form, I just wanted to build that entry form first so I can show you how to pull it in, but you can also make sure that anytime a contest goes live, that it fits the width of your website. So 810 pixels is the Aptivata default, but let's say that my contest is 730 pixels and I don't want it taller than 1,000. And of course, anytime you make a change, it'll auto-save and you can always reset it back to the Aptivata defaults as well. You can choose how you want it active. If you create graphics and you know exactly where the location of the form should be on that graphic, you can even set the pixel location, and that's from left to top. So as you adjust those, you can kind of play around and see where those are at. But yeah, a bunch of different things that you can do when editing your defaults here. Now, I created my form, and so I want to click Add New Default, Default Form Template. I'm going to scroll down, and it's going to ask me which form I want to use. Now, I've ran a lot of contests on Aptivata, but let's see where here we go. So default form, do not delete. If you need to, you can preview it, but I'm going to select default form and close. So now, every time I create a promotion or a sweepstakes, I'll call it Aptivata Demo, create promotion. You can see that it's pulling in that form that I created to begin with. So it's going to create a new instance of that form every time you create a new contest. So you can see that that really speeds up the process of building these promotions. Now you can also see that my desktop width is 730 pixels because I know that's great for my website. We can even set the default prize text. So if you want that to be something every time, you can set that. A lot of great things you can do. There's a lot of great things that you can do with these defaults. So I really encourage you to jump in, play around with those, and see how they can benefit you in creating promotions. You can, again, set defaults not only for sweepstakes, but for photo galleries or sports applications if you're creating custom sports, quizzes, surveys, and polls. So yeah, again, to access that, you'll go to Account Manager, Details, Access, and Edit Defaults. So lots of great things to experiment with there. You can even change the background color so it's the same as your website every time you create a new promotion. So without jumping in too deep to that, just because I feel like you can get in and it's pretty self-explanatory, then we'll go ahead and move on to the final portion of this call. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out in the questions tab. It looks like there's a couple there. If we don't get to them on the call, we'll definitely check them out so we can answer them after the call. So don't get discouraged if it doesn't get answered on the call. So yeah, let's see where we're at on our presentation. We're just 1 minute past 12:30, so we packed a lot in a short amount of time. Let's go ahead and pick those winners. So let me get that queued up. First, I'm going to announce who our, sorry about that. First, I'm going to announce who our referral winners are. But for the main prize, you must be present to win. So when I pick that winner, make sure within the GoToMeeting or the GoToWebinar that you hit that raise hand, and we know that you're here. So I'm navigating to the contest now. So if you haven't entered yet, it's in the chat. You have a couple more seconds to enter. And oh, excuse me, it looks like it recently expired. So let me expand that for a couple more minutes in case you just tried. So. Okay, I'll give you about 30 seconds more to enter if you haven't already. All right, so let's see who our referral entries go to. It looks like we have two to announce here. Everyone else didn't get referral entries, but no problem in that. I know everyone's busy. But our first one is Brock Matthews. Congratulations, Brock. You win $25, which is the same amount as the referral entries that you received. And Melody Neer, you also win $25 as well. So thank you guys for sharing this and making sure your friends and colleagues get on this call. We'll be emailing that to you after the call. And let's go ahead and choose our grand prize winner. So again, if you're here, please raise your hand. We'll verify that and wrap up the call. Okay, we have Jessica Kelly. Let me go ahead and jump to my screen there. Let's see if that works, Jessica. Are you here? Looking for a raised hand. Okay, confirmed Jessica Kelly is here. Congratulations, Jessica. Thank you everyone for attending. Again, remember, there was a lot on this call. It is recorded. You'll get a follow-up recording within 24 hours. Thank you so much. Don't hesitate to reach out with any questions, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.